Hello there. Welcome back to Very Good Yoga with Billy. My name is Billy, and for today's class, all you're going to need is 2 blocks and 1 strap. Let's get started, and let's come into a comfortable seat in Virasana. So if you were to see behind me, you'd see that I have a block the long way in between the shins. And if you're anything like me and you have really tight hips, or maybe you just have sensitive knees, what I would recommend is you stack the 2 blocks on top of one another. If that's still too much too soon, or if that's just not comfortable for you, then take any sort of comfortable seat. What we're going to do to start our class today is I want to do 2 rounds of 60 Kalabati breaths in archer arms. So what that's going to look like from a breath point of view is it's like these short little bursts of inhales and exhales that look and sound a little bit like this. So it's like you're trying to exhale so forcibly that like this natural like halfway inhale occurs. So before we get to that, what I'm going to have you do is reach the right arm up and overhead. So we're going to set up the archer arms first. Bend into the elbow, bring the forearm behind the head, and to get a little bit more length on the right side, put your left hand on your right elbow and push your hand and arm just a little bit further down the back. Once you have the right arm in place, reach the left arm out, left arm down, left arm up. So you're holding hands with yourself, maybe your shirt, or you could even grab a strap if that's just way too much too soon. Close your eyes. And take 1 full breath in through the nose. Fill up as much as you can. And then open up the mouth. Exhale all the way. Inhale halfway. And begin. That's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale all the way up. And then as you exhale, let go of your archer arms, let go with your hands. And if you want, maybe shake out the shoulders and the arms here a little bit. I always think that feels kind of nice. Second side, reach your left arm up and overhead. Bend into the elbow, bring the forearm behind the skull. And to get a little bit more length to the left side, put your right hand on the left elbow, guide the arm further down your back. Reach your right arm out, reach your right arm down, reach your right arm up. So again, you're holding hands with yourself, your shirt, or maybe a prop. I didn't mention this before, but if you don't have a strap, like a dog leash or an extension cord would be great alternatives. Close your eyes and take a full breath in through the nose. Fill up as much as you can. And then open up the mouth. Exhale all the way. Inhale halfway. And begin. Last 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pause. Inhale all the way up. And on the out breath, let go of your archer arms. Option to shake out the arms a little bit here if you think that would feel good. Place your blocks off to the side. And then let's make our way back to downward facing dog. Plant your palms, tuck your toes, and lift the hips up high. And of course, as always, for this first downward facing dog of class, if you want to add on any additional fidgets, maybe you pedal out the feet. Maybe you shake the head side to side. Maybe you play with the weight distribution in your hands. But eventually, as you come to find stillness, bring your feet a little closer together and lift the right leg up into a three-legged dog. Flex through the right foot, turn out the toes, and on an inhale, bend the knee to open up your hip. And in this open hip three-legged dog, I want you to pay attention to what you're doing with your left leg on the floor. In an effort to get your hips and your shoulders in a little bit more of a neutral position, could you roll the inner left thigh forward? So in an open hip three-legged dog, both legs and thighs are externally rotating. Lift the right knee up a little bit more and take a full breath in. Knee in between the elbows is your exhale. Step your right foot forward and lower the back knee down to come into a low lunge. Inhale, sweeps both arms up. Assisted open twist to the right. Reach your right arm back and then put the back of the left hand outside of the right leg. So in this twist, your left palm is open facing the right side of the room. And I want you to create a little bit of a dialogue between your left hand and your right leg. Press the hand into the thigh and then the thigh into the hand to turn your left rib cage towards the right side of your room. On an inhale, reach your right arm back, right arm down, both arms forward, low lunge, come back up through center. And then as you exhale, take it to a forward fold at the top of the mat. So for today, your feet will be either together or about 2 fist width distance apart, and that's hips width distance. Inhale, flat back, reach the crown of the head forwards. Forward fold is the out breath. Press your feet down on your next inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up high. See your palms touch and come into a Tadasana with both palms facing in towards the body. Inhale the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Press your feet down, lean forward as much as you can as you fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. And then keep the length in your spine as you step your right foot, step your left foot, and come into a plank pose. So paying attention to what your legs are doing in plank. Lift the inner thighs up into the ceiling and your heels towards the back of the room. Roll your biceps forward, look forward, take an inhale. And on your exhale, lower all the way to the belly. Untuck your toes. Reach your arms back and come up into a Shalabhasana. Lift your shoulders, lift your knees, lift your feet, and eventually lift your hands. Keep your big toes together to touch. And just like we did in plank pose a few moments ago, continue to find that sensation where you're lifting the inner thighs up into the ceiling, but your toe tips towards the back of the room. Hold the back bend. And then reach your arms out, reach your arms forward. So now your biceps are alongside your ears. And it's almost like you're holding a yoga block out in front of you. Stay soft through the back of the neck and your gaze slightly down over the tip of the nose. One more inhale to lengthen. And as you exhale, lower with your hands by your shoulders. On your next inhale, either low cobra or an up dog if you're ready for it. Keep lifting the inner thighs up. And then use your belly and send it into a downward facing dog. Bring your feet a little closer together and please lift the left leg up into a three-legged dog. Flex through the left foot, turn out the toes, and on an inhale, bend the knee to open up the hip. And even though most likely you're feeling most of this opening on the left leg, use your right leg on the floor to create stability in the pose. So it's an external rotation with the right thigh. Roll the inner right thigh forward to get your hips and shoulders in a more neutral position. Could you lift the left knee up a little bit higher? Inhale. Knee in between the elbows. Step your left foot forward and lower the back right knee down to come up into a low lunge. Inhale, both arms high. Assisted open twist to the left. Put the back of the right hand outside of the left thigh and turn your chest to the left side of the room. Remember to create that dialogue between hand and leg. Press the hand into the thigh and the thigh into the hand to get more of a twist. Inhale, left arm down, left arm forward, both arms up, low lunges and inhale. Forward fold is your exhale. Step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, come up to stand, reach the arms up high. See your palms touch and meet me in a Tadasana with the palms facing your hips. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, biceps alongside your ears. Hinge at your hips, lift your belly as you make your way into a forward fold. Inhale, flat back. And as you exhale, step your left foot, step your right foot, plank pose is the inhale. Biceps forward, triceps back as you lower to the belly. Exhale. Untuck your toes. Reach your arms back and come up into a Shalabhasana. Lift your knees, your shoulders, your feet, and your hands. And you know what's coming. And if you're anything like me and you have a wall in front of you, you might want to back up a little bit. Keep your big toes together to touch. Keep lifting to the inner thighs. Eventually reaching the arms out, reaching the arms forward so you find yourself in this non-gender specific super person shape. Biceps by your ears. Butt presses down, fingertips are forward. For 5, 4, 3, for 2, lower on 1 and bring your hands by your shoulders. Inhale is either cobra or an upward facing dog with the thighs lifted. Downward facing dog, send the hips up high. Okay. Lift the right leg up into a 3-legged dog and hold. Flex through the right foot, bend the knee, but do not open your hip. Just bend the knee like you're trying to like you're trying to curl the heel towards your tush. Lift the inner right thigh up into the ceiling. And as you look forward, shift forward into this variation of a 3-legged plank pose. Keep lifting the right foot up like you could leave a footprint above you. And if this is going pretty good for you, could you reach the left arm forward? So you find yourself in this variation of a bird dog plank. 5, 4, 3, for 2, put your left hand down. Step your right foot forward. Low lunge. Inhale, sweep the arms up. And as you exhale, cactus the arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together and pause here. Scoop your elbows down, scoop your elbows forward, scoop the elbows up so that they're in front of the wrists and your shoulders. Maybe start to walk your gaze up the front wall. As you pull your triceps in towards your ribs, and then this is slow, this is with control. Straighten out your arms towards the floor so your fingertips reach down and back behind you. Keep the back bend as you find an interlace at the lower back. And on your next inhale, reach the knuckles low, but lift the heart and the chest up. Exhale, humble your lunge. Bring the torso down to the inside of the right leg and reach your knuckles up and forwards. If this is too much too soon, you could always modify by just resting the chest and the torso on the front of the right thigh. Full breath in. Hand to the inside of the right foot on the out breath. Most likely you're going to have to go a little bit wider with the right foot to the outer edge of the mat. And then setting up for a twist, put your right hand to the inside of the right foot. If you're anything like me and you have like tight hips, you might want to put a block underneath your hand. And what I'm going to have you do is flip the right hand so that the fingertips point back, the thumb is pointing towards your foot, and the heel of the hand lines up with the heel of the foot. Put your left hand on your sacrum and begin to look forward with your eyes. Imagine that you're tracing a line up the front wall, and eventually bring the gaze skyward, so directly above you to the left. If this is going like really well for you, option to add the left arm up into the ceiling. So your legs are in the lunge still. Your left butt goes to the left, your right butt goes to the right, but your shoulders are stacked. Your chest is turning to the left side of the room. If your left arm is lifted, inhale it forward. Exhale, both hands come down to frame the front right foot. And step up into a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, long spine, even your neck. Exhale is fold. Inhale, come all the way up to stand, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, Uttanasana, fold right back down. Inhale, flat back, prepares you for Chaturanga. And on an out breath, Chaturanga, whether you hop or land with bent elbows. Inhale, come up into your back bend, upward facing dog. Inner thighs are still lifting. Downward facing dog, send the hips up high. This time I'm going to have you lift the left leg up into a three-legged dog. Flex through the left foot, bend the left knee, but do not open your hip. Do not open up your hip. Just bend the knee and curl your heel towards your bum. Keep lifting the inner left thigh up into the air. And then as you look forward, begin to shift forward, coming into this variation of a three-legged plank. So it's like you're trying to stamp a footprint on the ceiling with your left thigh, or your left foot, I'm sorry. And if you want to add on, if you took that bird dog option before, reach the right arm forward. And again, your bicep should be alongside your ear more or less. 5, 4, 3, for 2, put your right hand down. Step your left foot forward. Low lunge, back knee drops. Inhale the arms high. Exhale, cactus the arms. Squeeze your shoulder blades together and hold. Scoop your elbows down. Scoop your elbows forward. Scoop your elbows up so that they're in front of the shoulders and wrists. Keep the bend of the elbows as you hug your triceps in towards your rib cage. And with control, slowly extend at the elbows and reach your fingertips down and back. Keeping the back bend, keeping this work, eventually find the interlace with the opposite thumb on top. Inhale, the knuckles low, the heart and the chest lift. And as you exhale, take it to your humble lunge. So again, your chest and your torso are inside of the left leg. And if you need the modification, keep the chest on your thigh. Allow your head and neck to be heavy as you open up through your shoulders. Inhale. Lizard on the exhale. Put both hands inside of the front left foot, but keep your right knee down on the floor. If you had a block on the first side, you're probably going to want it again here. As you put your left hand to the inside of the left foot, flip the grip. So the heel of the hand is now in line with the heel of the foot, and all 5 of your fingers point straight back. Put your right hand on your sacrum, the flat bony part of your lower back. Begin to look forward with your eyes. Imagine you're tracing that line up the front wall until eventually your gaze is skyward all the way up and to the right. And then maybe you stay here. But if this was like really good for you before, reach the right arm up into the air. I didn't cue this on the last side, but in an effort to get the right hip more forward, press down to the pinky edge of the back right foot. Inhale the top arm forward. Exhale, both hands down to frame the front left foot. We'll meet in a forward fold at the very top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, chair pose this time. Bend into the knees, lift the heart and the chest up. Look forwards. Bring your hands to prayer at the heart. Come all the way up to stand and come into a Tadasana with your arms by your side. One round of a Surya Namaskar B. Inhale, chair pose. Sweep the ground with the fingertips, lift the heart and the chest up. Belly to thighs, hands to floor. Forward fold is your exhale. Keep your hands on the ground when you inhale, flat back. Prepare for Chaturanga. Chaturanga is the out breath, lower halfway. Inhale to come up into your back bend, upward facing dog. And then using your belly, take it up and back into a downward facing dog. Please step your right foot forward and come up into a warrior one. Inhale, reaches the arms up. And as you exhale, take it down into your low push-up. Inhales your back bend, upward facing dog. And on your out breath, lift the hips up high to come into your downward facing dog. Step the left foot forward. Ground the right heel down. Warrior one, inhale, rise. Exhale, Chaturanga to lower. Inhales your back bend, upward facing dog. And as you exhale, take it to a downward facing dog and breathe for 5, 4, 3, for 2, inhale on 1, and on empty, look forward, bend into the knees, hop, spring, or step to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Right away, inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Utkatasana. Inhale, chair pose. Bend into your knees. Look forwards. Bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart and twist to the left. Connect the right elbow outside of the left thigh. Hold the pose. And reach the tips of the ears forward. Reach your tailbone, reach your hips down and back. And then hold the twist, but pluck your left foot off the floor. So the right foot stays on the ground and you're kind of like a twisting flamingo just standing on the right foot. We're going to make our way up into an Utthita C. And I want you to try to keep the elbow connected to the outside of the thigh for as long as you can. And then once you feel you can't anymore, your right hand will find either your thigh, your shin, or maybe you grab on for the foot if you have the mobility. For me, I typically modify this one myself, just because frankly I don't have the mobility. Not yet, at least. Maybe someday, hopefully. Press your right foot down. Keep lifting the tips of the ears up into the ceiling. Reach your left arm back. Reach your left arm down. Reach both arms forward. Utthita A. Straighten out the left leg. Inhale, get taller. Keep your left leg lifted. Pendulum it down. Pendulum it back. We're going to make a pit stop in Warrior 3. And then with control, land in a standing split. Could you bring your belly to your thighs? Can you keep the gaze at the back of the mat? And lift up to the inner left leg. Think about lifting up to the inseam of your legging as you inhale. Forward fold is the exhale. Both feet and hands are on the floor. Inhale, flat back. Exhale is fold. Inhale, chair pose. Bend into the knees. Lift the heart and the chest up. Look forward. Bring your hands to prayer at the heart and find a prayer twist to the right. So now it's the left elbow that's connected outside of the right thigh. Set up your twist first. I'm going to cue this a little differently on this side. Imagine that I'm holding you by the hips. And imagine that I'm trying to pull your hips down and back. And then imagine that as I do that, you're trying to resist that force and reach the tips of the ears and the heart forward. Hold the pose and pluck your right foot off the floor. So we're coming back into this twisting flamingo shape. Try to keep the elbow connected to the outside of the thigh for as long as you can as we make our way up to stand Utthita C. Keep turning the chest. Keep turning the left rib cage towards the inside of the right leg. Press into the center of the left foot where your shoelaces would normally be. And then when you're ready, reach your right arm back. Down. Both arms forward, Utthita A. Straighten out the right leg as you get there. Inhale, stand tall. Keep the right leg lifted, and on your exhale, pendulum it down, pendulum it back. Make a pit stop in Warrior 3. And then with control, we are landing in a standing split. So the left foot's on the floor, your gaze is at the back of the mat. Lift the lifted inner right leg up into the ceiling. And press your left foot down to lift the standing thigh bone up. One more breath. Forward fold is the exhale. Put both of your feet and hands on the floor. Inhale, flat back. Prepare for chaturanga. And then keeping that length, chaturanga, lower halfway. Inhale to your back bend, upward facing dog. And as you exhale, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward and come up into Warrior 1. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hold. Scoop your elbows down. Scoop your elbows forward. Scoop the elbows up to help press the bottoms of the shoulder blades forward into your chest. Hug the triceps in towards your body. And with control, begin to straighten out the arms, reaching your fingertips down and back. Interlace your hands at the lower back. And keeping the back bend, inhale the knuckles low and the heart and the chest up. Exhale, humble your warrior. Bow the torso, bow the chest to the inside of the front right leg. And even though, I cannot see any of you when we do this, right? I would say most people, 70 to 80% of the time, we could wrap the right hip back more and reach the left hip forward. So we still have that evenness of Warrior 1 in our hips. One more breath. Lizard lunge is the exhale. Put both hands to the inside of the right leg. And flip up the back left heel. Put your right hand inside of your right foot. And if you need a block, grab a block. Flip your palms so the heel of the hand lines up with the heel of the foot and your fingertips point straight back. Put your left hand on your sacrum and begin to look forward with your eyes. Imagine that you're tracing a line up the front wall and eventually look skyward. And if we're doing pretty good here, maybe reach the left arm up into the air. So you still have a runner's lunge shape in your legs. Left butt to the left, right butt to the right. And you're turning your chest and your ribs open to the left side of your space. Inhale the left arm forwards. Exhale, left hand down, left knee down. Come into a simple twist with the left knee on the floor. So this is going to be option one. Maybe this is where you stay. But if you'd like to explore a quad stretch, bend into the left knee and see if you can grab the outside of the right foot, right shin with your right hand. Maybe this is where you stay. But if this is going pretty well for you, could you fold? Could you try to bring the right shoulder to the inside of the right knee and turn your chest down to the floor? If you're feeling pretty open, you could even lower the left forearm down. And if none of that's working, just stay in lizard or the initial twist. 2 more breaths. Inhale. Without slingshotting the foot, let it go. Exhale. Place both hands on the floor. Runner's lunge. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. And we're going to send it. 3-legged dog. Lift the right leg up and back. Flex with the right foot. Turn out the toes. Bend the knee and open up your hip. And of course, again, you could stay right here. But if you want to find your right foot with your left hand, slowly begin to walk your left hand back. Reach the arm up and alongside the body and see if you can locate the right foot, right shin. You're thinking about what you're doing on the floor with the left foot and the right hand. And it helps out a lot to find something to focus on with the eyes, the drishti, something that's not moving. 5, 4, 3, for 2. Put your left hand down and step your right foot as far forward as you can. Warrior 2, come up to stand and hold the pose. So you're trying to find that front heel back arch intersection. On the one hand, you have the right foot and the right leg in front of you, but don't forget to fire up the back left leg and the left arm as well. Inhale, reverse, tip back. And as you exhale, plank to chaturanga. Vinyasa. We'll make our way back into downward facing dog. Okay. Keeping it moving. Step your left foot forward and make your way up into a warrior 1. Inhale, reaches the arms up. And on an exhale, cactus the arms. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hold here. Last time we'll do this. You know what to do. Scoop your elbows down, scoop your elbows forward, scoop your elbows up to press the bottoms of the shoulder blades forward into your chest. Hug the triceps in towards your ribs. With control, straighten out your arms and find the interlace at the lower back with the opposite thumb on top. Inhale, the knuckles low, the heart and the chest up high. And on an exhale, humble your warrior. Bring the chest inside of the left leg unless you're modifying with the chest on top of the thigh. Left hip back, right hip forward. And again, notice if you have all the work and the energy in the front foot and see if you can find equal weight distribution between your 2 feet on the floor. Full breath in. Lizard lunge is the exhale. Put both hands inside of the left foot and flip up the back right heel. Put your left hand inside of your left foot and flip the palm so the fingertips point back and the heel of the hand is in line with the heel of the foot. Your right hand finds your sacrum. Your eyes go forward, your eyes go up until eventually they're skywards. And really when you do this, you're looking straight up to the right. So it's almost like you're trying to bring the left eyeball up to the ceiling. And then maybe you stay here, maybe reach the right arm up as well if this has been going well for you today. Right butt to the right, left butt to the left. Remember to hold this neutralness that is your runner's lunge legs. Inhale the top arm forward. Exhale, right hand down. Right knee down, modified simple twist. Reach the left arm up into the air. Option 1, stay right here. Option 2, if you can grab it, bend into the right knee and hold on for the right foot, right shin with the left hand. Maybe you can fold, bringing the left shoulder to the inside of the left leg. And if you can go even further, lower the right forearm to the floor. But if you ever find yourself in one of these, excuse me, if you ever find yourself in one of these deeper openings and you feel that like you can like barely breathe and you're making a face, do a little bit less. Do the one that like you secretly really want to do, not the one that you think should be done. It's not always the same thing. One more breath. Without slingshotting the legs, let it go. Runner's lunge, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and send it. Three-legged dog, lift the left leg up high. Flex to the right, flex to the left foot, turn out the left toes, and bend the left knee to open up your hip. And again, maybe this is where you stay, but if you want to try out that bird dog, slowly walk the right hand back. Slowly hover the right hand off the floor and slowly grab on for the foot if it's accessible. And I really do think slow is the key word to make that transition successful. A lot of times I just see people like try to reach the arm up really fast, and when we do that, you're probably going to eat it. Like you're probably going to fall over if you just reach the right arm up really quick. Because that's where you lose control. 5, 4, 3, 2. Put your right hand down and step your left foot as far forward as you can. Virabhadrasana, be holding here. So bend deep into the front left knee. And could you straighten out the back right leg a little bit more? Soften your breath, soften your face. Inhale, reverse. And as you exhale, plank to chaturanga vinyasa. We'll meet back in downward facing dog. So as you settle, as you breathe into this downward facing dog, keep your gaze in between your feet. And this is internal rotation of the thighs when you're in downward facing dog. So the inner legs are rolling in towards one another. And for me, that's always like a really helpful way to remember internal rotation. The inner thighs are rolling inwards. Simple enough, right? Take a full breath in. And on empty, look forward, bend into the knees, hop, spring, or step to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Hands on your hips, squeeze your elbows together and come up to stand. So from this Tadasana at the front of the mat, we're going to set up for a mini dancer, one each leg. And what I'm going to have you do is keep your right foot on the floor, pick your left foot up, and grab a hold of the outside of the left shin with your left hand, or even your left foot, depending on what's accessible for you today. And the reason I keep backing up is just because I have a wall in front of me. If you need to negotiate your space, negotiate your space. But when you're ready, reach the right arm up. Again, maybe this is where you stay. But things are going pretty well for you here. Kick your left foot back and feed your heart forward. Remember what we've been doing with the inner thighs all day. And lift up to the inseam of your left leg. Maybe you can look forwards with the eyes. And then don't forget about what you're doing on the floor as you press the right foot down and lift the standing thigh bone up. And inhale, make your way back up to stand. And as you exhale, come into Tadasana with both feet on the floor and the arms by your sides. Close your eyes and come back into your breath. Letting smooth and steady inhales and exhales in between these sides. Round two. Keep your left foot on the floor. And grab the outside of the right foot, right shin. Reach the left arm up into the air, look straight ahead. And then if you're going for this variation of dancer, kick your right foot back and lean your heart and chest forward. Lift the inner right thigh up into the ceiling. So again, your right leg should stay more or less in line with your right hip when you do this. The range of motion that you're looking for is just forwards and up. I guess it's back and up here. Really what I'm trying to get you to avoid and what I'm trying to get you not to do is go out, go left or right with the right leg. Again, this is one of those shapes where most of us, I feel, could lift up more the inner right leg. Inhale, upright your shape. And as you exhale, slowly and casually come into a Tadasana with both feet on the floor and the arms by your sides. Close your eyes and feel for what you feel. Notice what comes up. For me, it's always like that buzzing sensation that you get when you do yoga. It's always one of my favorite parts of class. As you flutter your eyes open, inhale, reach both arms up. Hinge at your hips. Exhale is your fold. Inhale, flat back, prepares for chaturanga. And as you exhale, chaturanga, vinyasa. Eventually meeting back in your downward facing dog. Okay. So I want to do one more piece of standing flow with you guys today. And it's pretty quick, pretty short. Starting by stepping your right foot as far forward as you can. Come up into warrior two, but right away straighten out the front right leg. And parallel your feet with the short edges of the mat. So you have a straddle shape in your legs with the wrist right over the feet and the ankles. Bring your hands onto your hips and squeeze the elbows together. So you're trying to do the work of camel pose with the upper body. Lift the heart and the chest up. Take a full breath in. Exhale. Keep the back bend for as long as you can as you hinge at your hips, bow forward. And once you feel you've folded as much as you can fold, put your hands on the floor with the heels of the hands in line with the heels of the feet. And frankly, I don't really care if your fingers are pointing forward or back, but do bend into the elbows like you would do in chaturanga. Reach the crown of the head to the floor, but then draw the shoulder blades away from the ears. So you're in a forward bend, but you're finding a back bend here. Inhale, flat back. Runner's lunge to the right. Walk your hands to the right and frame the front right foot. grab a block and put it the highest height underneath the left quadricep. And something very specific I want to point out here. When you put this block under your thigh, do make sure that it's under your thigh and it is no way, shape, or form in contact with the kneecap. Whoops. Once you have that block in the right location, come into a supported simple twist with the right arm up into the air. And maybe this is where you stay. Maybe this is like really good for you. But if you'd like to take a quad stretch, could you bend into the back knee and see if you can catch your foot? I always get like a really mean Charlie horse when I do that, and it usually takes me a couple times to get like settled into this position. But eventually you find the pose. And when you do find the pose, stay there and breathe through it. But again, like if you were in like sweet, agonizing pain and this is just way too much, way too soon, do less. It's okay to do less. You could even just go back to that quad stretch we did earlier today, if that's something you're still working on. Slingshotting the foot, let it go. Runner's lunge, place your block off to the side. And let's meet in a forward fold at the very top of the mat. Inhale, flat back. Hands on your hips, squeeze your elbows together and come up to stand. So now I want to set up for a king dancer's pose. And what I'm going to have you do, if you haven't already, is grab your strap. I want you to hold on to it just like you would a jump rope. So there should be one end of the strap in each of your hands. Let's do this. Keep your right foot on the floor. Bring the strap behind you and take a small step back with your left foot. So you'll notice the top of my left foot is on the floor to start. With strap in hand, I'm going to ask you to reach the arms back. I'm going to ask you to reach the arms out. I'm going to ask you to reach the arms up. So with that transition, hopefully when you do that, you took the left leg with you. So the foot should be right in that strap. If you would like, maybe you take some of the slack out of the band and you walk your hands in a little bit more. But if you do that, do it within reason. The biceps are by the ears, the forearms are parallel with the ceiling. And just like we did before in that first dancer shape, kick your left foot back, feed the heart and the chest forward. King dancer's pose. Lift up through the inner left thigh. Press your right foot into the floor and breathe. Inhale, come up to stand. And then casually step to a Tadasana with both feet on the floor and the arms by the side. Stitch the strap if you have it. When you're ready, inhale the arms up. Slow with controlled exhale to bow forward. Inhale the flat back. And as you exhale, chaturanga. Vinyasa, once again, take it back to downward facing dog. Even breaths. Whew. Last side. Step your left foot as far forward as you can and come up into a warrior two. Straighten out the front left leg, parallel your feet with the short edges of the mat. And again, do make sure that the hands and the wrists are right above the feet and the ankles. Place your hands on your hips and begin to squeeze the elbows together. So you're starting to initiate a back bend in the upper body. Press your feet down. Inhale, lift the heart and the chest up. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Keep the back bend for as long as you can and fold, eventually putting your hands on the floor until you once you can't fold anymore. Bend into your elbows. And draw the shoulder blades away from your ears. Continue to even out the breath, and we'll just take a few more rounds here. Inhales, lengthen. And as you exhale, walk your hands over to the left to come into a runner's lunge. Grab your block and place it the highest height right underneath the right quadricep, the right thigh. And again, I just want to emphasize that the block is above the kneecap and it is not in any way, shape, or form touching that part of your body. Once you have that block situated, keep your right hand on the floor and find this modified simple twist. And if this went like kind of good for you on the first side, maybe you bend into the knee and you catch the right foot with the left hand. So on the one hand, like we're lengthening the front of the hip and the quadricep, right? But I feel like with the position of the block, you also start to incorporate this element of self-myofascial release, which if you're not familiar, it's kind of like foam rolling or like a poor man's deep tissue massage, if you will. Full breath in. And with that slingshot in the back leg, let it go and make your way to a runner's lunge, getting rid of the block. Forward fold, step your back foot up to meet your front foot. Grab your strap if you need it. Inhale, flat back. Hands on your hips, squeeze the elbows together and come up to stand. I should have worded that a lot differently because we're all going to need this strap. I just feel like that's a lot more helpful to take the strap with you instead of standing up and then you got to pick it up again. It's more smooth. Put one end of the strap in each of your hands. I don't know why that's so difficult for me to say. It gets me every time, whether I'm doing this on a recording or doing it in like a live class, right? Excuse me. Bring the strap behind you and keep the left foot on the floor. Take a small step back with the right foot so the toes are on the ground. With the strap in your hands, reach the arms out, reach the arms up so you catch your foot on the way up. And then once you're there, walk your hands up the strap so you begin to take the slack out of the band. The elbows and the biceps are hugging the face. Eventually kick your right foot back and lean your heart forward. So the inner right thigh is lifting up. The left foot is pressing down. And the belly is engaged to protect the lower back. Inhale, come up to stand. And exhale, come into a Tadasana with both feet on the floor, arms by the sides, and you can just drop the strap off to the side. Similar to the way of bringing it up, I feel like it's really satisfying. Just kind of throw it off to the side after you've done a pretty solid dancer's pose. Inhale the arms up. Hinge at your hips, and as you exhale, bow forwards. Inhale to your flat back. Last time, exhale, chaturanga, vinyasa, downward facing dog. All right, just checking the time, seeing how we're doing. So that being said, let's make our way down to the floor. Let's set up for a bridge pose, please. Snuggle the shoulders underneath you, and while you're on your back, reach your fingertips forward to get more of a lift through your chest and your ribs. Inhale. Feet press down, hips lift up, bridge is the exhale. And then once you get your hips off the floor, could you snuggle the shoulders underneath you a little bit more? Roll the inner thighs down to the floor. Lift your chin away from your chest. And with your palms facing up, reach the fingertips towards the front of the space. One more breath. And as you exhale, lower the upper back, the middle back, the lower back, the hips, and eventually the tail. Maybe take a moment, close your eyes. And keeping your feet more or less in a neutral, hips width distance shape. Maybe you invite some smaller fidgets, windshield wiping the legs side to side. But if you're doing that, make sure it's a pretty limited range of motion. It's not the full left and right. It's just a little side to side. Just a little fidget. What fidgeting in yoga? Yeah, a little fidget. Nothing crazy, right? One more. Reach your fingertips forward to create the lift in your chest and ribs. Inhale. Press your feet down, lift your hips up, bridge poses. Exhale. Option to stay here. But if you want to go for a wheel pose, reach the arms up and overhead. Bring your hands wide to frame your face. Inhale, come up onto the crown of your head first. And as you exhale, straighten out the arms. Wheel pose is your out breath. Feet are pressing down and forwards. The upper back is pressing in towards the back of the room, whether you're in bridge or wheel. And the inner thighs continue to roll down towards the floor. And after about 8 rounds of breath, lower all the way to the floor. And let's step the feet wide and knock the knees together to touch and close the eyes. Yogi's choice what to do with the arms. For me, I like to go overhead because I think that can create more length in the sides of the waist and the ribs, which I think helps you to breathe a little bit better. But that being said, I think it can also feel really supportive to put the hands on the body. And then you start to invite that gentle windshield wiping action of the legs going side to side. And what I want you to do is on your own, slowly start to increase that range of motion, little by little here. And maybe find any sweet spots, you stay there and you pause for an extra few seconds. But the next time you find that you drop your knees over to the right, keep them there and settle for a twist. So your feet are staggered, you're twisting to the right. And if it's appropriate, look over your left hand to the left side of your room. If that's okay on your neck. And if it's not, keep the gaze skywards. Smooth, involved breaths. And on your own, remember, this is slow, almost like you're moving through molasses. Come back through center and drop your knees to the left. And then same as before, maybe this is where you stay, maybe the gaze goes over the right hand if that felt pretty good for you on the first side. And like I said before, continue to find your breath. I know during the cool down, this is where we start to kind of mentally fidget a little bit more. This is where the distractions start to creep in. I know for a lot of people, this is where we turn the video off. But as always, I think the cool down is so underrated. This is where we find that equilibrium after building that heat that we do in the meats and potatoes parts of vinyasa yoga. Whenever you're ready, start to come out slow, come back through center. I actually want to finish with a Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the soles of the feet together and the knees out wide. And if you're anything like me, and you need a little bit more support, if you have tight hips, put a block underneath the thighs. But if you're doing that, like, I think there's a misconception. I see a lot of people bring the block like all the way into the body, but you actually want the blocks closer to the outside of the knee, just because if you bring the block really close, the thigh bone tends to jam into the hips and the lower back. Close your eyes and breathe. Again, coming back to these smooth and steady inhales and just trying to stay involved for a little bit longer. I know there can be so much noise as we go about our day to day, as we look at our phones, as we look at the news. Keep the awareness on your breath. Same length, same strength. Maybe this is where you step. But of course, if you want a more conventional Shavasana, begin to set yourself up, the legs out in front of you. And if there's another Shavasana I'm not offering you here today, like by all means, set yourself up wherever you need to be. But make sure where you go, it's somewhere where you can stay for the entirety of the rest. Somewhere where you won't move and later on fidget. Take one more big belly breath. Fill up. And then open up the mouth, and on your exhale, clear it away. No more work. No more effort. Shavasana. you have the time and would like to continue to stay in Shavasana a little bit longer, be here for as long as you need to be. But if you're ready to come out, start to deepen the breath and invite some smaller movements back into the body. Wiggle the fingers, wiggle the toes, wiggle the hands, and eventually the feet. Slowly bend into your knees, step both feet onto the floor. And collect your knees into the belly. Take a moment and roll off to the right into a fetal position, just so we can feel, the support of the floor underneath us. And then almost like you could bring this feeling of Shavasana with you. Using as little effort as possible, please come up into a comfortable seat, facing your monitors. To seal in your practice, please bring your hands to a prayer position at your heart. Guiding the thumb knuckles up and into your sternum, please invite a full breath in. Open up the mouth, exhale to clear it away. Thumb knuckles to your forehead, your third eye center. Thank you for sharing your practices with me today. Go in peace. Namaste. Thank you, yogis. That is it for me for today. But if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share all the things that you do on the YouTube. I've got merch available. If you want a VGY shirt, I'll leave a link down below. And that's it, you guys. Hope everyone's doing okay. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Bye.